Okay, we are ready. There's some hurdles to clear. Okay, we are ready. Sorry for this. Apologies. Let's get it going. We don't have that much time. We know how quickly time flies. Bonjour, tout le monde. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots on DBS Radio. All aboard the CTD train. Get set for another wonderful experience. I hope you have your flags with you, huh? Your bandana, your Dominica design, something, a whistle. Piece of madras fabric. Let's get it on. Come on board the CTD train. Let me join Nigel Francis. We're not going to talk so much today, Nigel. We know the vibes already. We have to keep it moving. How are you doing, Nigel?
I am good, my dear. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, you know. I don't know what is wrong this morning. The devil setting a trap there, man.
The devil set a trap. Don't fall for it.
Nah, man. So,
don't fall for it.
Nah.
Today's a beautiful day.
Yeah,
know?
we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work, Nigel.
As always. We always find a way, you know. No worries.
Of course. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? There's a way.
As always.
Oh, Nigel, I'm sweating, but it's all good.
That's okay.
It is all good.
If you're sweating now, you can imagine how Thea was sweating and
yes, we
just ready to do that fine.
So yeah, that's nothing.
No sweating.
Yes,
we're
yes,
good to go.
Yes. So we are taking our guests, our listeners, our viewers to Paris today, right, Nigel? I'm not sure where we're going to set up our shop. We should have done that already, but we're just going to place our shop right there, our studio, because it's really a pleasure to have today's connection on, Nigel, and I'm sure you'll agree.
It is.
We are not talking too much. Let's quickly
We're not talking
say.
too much. I moved to a different studio.
Yeah.
But if I don't say happy birthday to Alice, I'm in trouble.
I was just about to say
happy
that.
Happy birthday, Alice. Happy birthday to you, my dear. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And imagine, see where I am on Alice's birthday, but enjoy. And happy birthday to your daughter as well.
Yes, my daughter, my last daughter, Dijana, is celebrating a birthday today as well. So
yes, happy birthday to her as well. You know, so happy birthday from the entire family. Enjoy.
Yes, enjoy. I thought you were going to put your Olympic T-shirt and flaunt it in my face.
Me, it have a partner waiting for him to send me something. He don't send it.
Oh, you didn't send it.
I'm not saying who. I just saying I waiting for him to send me something. Hopefully he will give me something.
Okay, hopefully. Just keep your fingers crossed.
Yes. We on live and thing. Yeah, we good.
Yes, right. I think we're good to go, right? I don't know.
Yes,
I'm not getting.
We're good to go. Well, because I'm not in the usual studio, that's why I don't have the usual. You know, the background and the T-shirt and everything else. So yes.
All right. Yes. So the flag, the Dominica flag, the nose on the Dominica flag has gotten longer. I'm not sure if you looked at it, Nigel.
It got longer.
It's longer now, and there's reasons for it to be longer because Dominica is so proud.
It took a triple jump.
Yes, something like that. Yes. We have reasons to celebrate, man, Nigel. We have reasons to celebrate,
Yes. All you in my back already. Where's my goal? You see the same thing, partner. Somebody tell me where's my gold Dominica T-shirt. I still waiting. I couldn't get the gold medal, so I have a gold chain.
Myself, I try something where I put a gold, a black shirt with a gold on it.
Yes. We try a little thing.
Yeah, man. Yes.
So we rolling.
We are rolling. Let's just say quickly, right. Big up to Asa Banton for his big, breakfast fete.
Breakfast fete was yes.
Big things
that's
happening.
That's where you're coming from, right?
No, I did not go. Okay. We'll see what happens later. Whether I take it on my veranda when all the traffic is passing or something like that. But I'll try something.
It'll work. It'll work.
Let's also say a big up to Tilly, because Tilly too is organizing a big event next week. And we hope that it goes well as well. Tilly and Schwab. So I'm hoping that we can have them next week as well. We'll see how it rolls. But
we'll see how it
So how do we begin, Nigel? By the way, quickly, anybody in the book already? I'm not even seeing
it. The book is extremely busy. I can't even keep track right now. So good morning to all of you on the book. Flora Fontaine, good morning. Author Annette Phillip, good morning to you. Let's see. Terry Olivache Bino, good morning to you, my dear. Yes, thanks for the birthday greetings. Hey, sister on me. I don't understand that. All you in Paris and all you on. Good morning. Winnie Green, good morning to you as well. Yes, I mean, Alvin Thomas, good morning. Alvin, I haven't responded because it's been a crazy week for me. I'll respond to you, but good morning. Thanks for the birthday wishes on behalf of Helios. Carrie Levy, good morning, of course, and everybody else. So, yes, the book is extremely busy. We're going to jump into it, right?
Yeah, we have to jump into it.
Joseph,
Yes.
good morning to you as
So
well.
everybody's on, Nigel? Are you checking the vibes?
Everybody's on. They're ready to roll.
So it's time to bring on our guest, right?
Yes.
Of course.
I think we'll probably start with the president.
Yes, we'll. Yeah.
A few things he has to do.
Yes.
In his busy travels. So I think we should start with the president first.
Okay, let's start with the president.
What do you think? We start from the top.
Yes, but let's just welcome everybody, of course, and because I mean, Nigel, it's a big thing for us. In recent times, of course, we have been dealing with so much. Recent sudden deaths, has rocked us to the core. We have had so much to deal with as a small island developing state, recent disasters as well. But look at what happened. Look at where we are now. Who would have thought that Dominica's very first medal in Olympics would have been a gold medal, Nigel? So for us as a nation, this is really, really big, Nigel. This is huge. This is monumental. Probably some of us have not looked at the impact, that has created and will continue to create, on this island. But I'm happy that we had Thea Lafond on. We had a last sometime. When was it, Nigel?
We hadn't connected the dots
with her mom. I think she had to leave at some point.
With her mom, yes.
Yeah, we hadn't connected the dots already.
Yes, but it's been a while.
Yes, it's been a minute.
We've had her, and of course, we're so happy we can have her this time around again.
Yes. So let's say hello to everybody who's on, and then of course we'll talk to Gavin. We'll talk to Billy Doctrove, and then the focus, of course, will be on Thea. Right, Nigel?
Yes.
We'll go that way.
It's definitely going to be on her. And of course, hopefully we can chit-chat with her coach as well and husband for a few as well. So we have the entire crew, which is wonderful.
Somebody's telling me we should pray, but let me just say quickly, God grants us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. So let's begin. Nigel, it's your. I'm giving you first knock, Nigel. Welcome. Welcome the Queen.
Welcome. So, hey, good morning. It is a pleasure to have the three of you, Gavin, Billy, Thea, and hopefully everyone is going to join us as well. I mean, it's nothing more than an immense pride that we feel this morning in sharing with the rest of Dominica and the rest of the world what took place. So before we get into the discussion, good morning to you, Thea. How are you doing?
Good morning. I am doing very well. I hope you guys are doing well too. Thank you for having us.
We thank you. We thank you for creating this, because Nigel, this is big for us. So Thea, we are really happy to have you on. Thank you. Okay, a big thank you. Yes.
And just to let you know, Aaron is also right next to me.
Hi.
So you have both of us here.
Well, that's where he should be. Yes. So good morning to you, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
nice to be here.
Beautiful. And we'll be chit-chatting a lot more. We're just having the formal good mornings. Hey, good morning, Gavin Riceman Richards. How are you doing?
Morning. I'm fine, thanks.
All right. And Mr. President, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Nigel and Ivona.
Yes, how you doing, Papa? I see you taking your food, but then you had no choice but to take your food, right?
None whatsoever.
Yes.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. It's nice to have you on as well, Billy Doctor.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, Mr. President, we know you have a few little things to do here and there and everything else, and of course, I know Gavin has to run as well. So, Billy, I mean, listen. If you can take us back overall, I mean, what was the experience like for the contingent over there in Paris?
Well, it was just, a momentous occasion. It's something that we, had planned for. It's something that we had hoped for. It's something that we had aspired for. And we put all our our hopes and aspirations into the jumping ability of Thea and the preparation of a coach. And they did not disappoint us one bit. As I said, and I'll continue to say, in my mind, this is the greatest achievement by a Dominican or by Dominica since we attained independence in 1978. So people must never underestimate that achievement by Thea. It was something that she had worked hard for from since we took up office in 2017. We have worked with Thea. We have seen her progress, you know, from disappointment in Rio in 2016 to her first major medal in 2018 at the Commonwealth Games in Australia, where she won the bronze. And that was Dominica's first ever medal at the Olympic Games. So Thea has a way of producing the first for herself and Dominica. Then the next Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, we saw she progressed to the semifinals. And then she progressed earlier this year to the gold in the World Indoor Championships. And then everything was climaxed this year with the gold at the Olympic Games. So we have been with Thea, we have seen her progress, and we are so proud of her efforts. We are proud of Aaron's contribution because he is a coach. He as a husband also has mentored her through those difficult times. We have seen her, experience disappointments. We have seen her experience, hurdles which she had to overcome, but she has bounced back. And as she said, she has picked herself up on each occasion, where now she's sitting on the pinnacle of achievement, pinnacle of her event in triple jump. And we are so happy. And as I said, Dominica must, whilst we celebrate, but we also have to remember the great sacrifice that Thea has made. Because for you to achieve and become the best in the world in your craft, you have to accept that you will have to overcome difficulties. And it is always more joyous when you overcome all those difficulties and hurdles. So I want to congratulate Thea and Aaron again for this great achievement, and we're hoping soon when they come to Dominica in the next week or two, then we will really continue and bring the celebration to a climax. We have made recommendations to the government of Dominica as to how we believe it is fitting to recognize Thea and everything Thea receives, every living thing that she receives, she deserves it and more. I don't think we'll ever be in a position to really to give her the kind of recognition that she deserves. But Thea has worked hard, and we are all happy and grateful. As I said, I don't want to be too long because today and every show that Thea is on belongs to her. It's focused, and I have some other stuff to attend to. So I just want to say that congratulations to Thea again, and I'm happy to have been associated with her success. And I consider we have grown so close now. I consider almost like my own daughter. She's a wonderful lady, as I mentioned, in Paris. She's an excellent triple jumper, but she's even a better human being. I could tell you that she's a wonderful young lady, well mannered, everything about her. It just shows that she has the class to wear that crown she has. And Ivona, I saw you have a golden Dominican map on your chest. Well, this is similar to the crown that Thea is wearing now. She's wearing a golden crown, and she'll wear that golden crown until she decides that she's retiring. She'll always have that golden crown on her head representing Dominica. So again, on behalf of the Dominica Olympic Committee, I want to thank, first of all, the hosts of Connecting the Dots for reaching out. And as soon as they reached out to me and I contacted Aaron and Thea, they both agreed immediately. I explained the kind of program that is and the kind of listening audience that they will, and they both agreed immediately. So I expect it to be a great show. I wouldn't be able to be listening all through, but I expect it to be a great show. And you have Gavin, who did a tremendous job, and I want to compliment Gavin on his work that he has done as a press attaché. And I want to let DBS know that they should be proud to have someone like Gavin and the work that he has done. He has raised his game. He has raised his work to an unimaginable crescendo. I want to say he has done a tremendous job, and DBS must utilize his work and let people know that this is an employee of DBS, and they must let it be known that he's been doing a great job. So Gavin, I want to say thank you again. I'll thank you on a number of occasions. I want to do it publicly to DBS and the world that you are the very best in the press attaches that we could ever have. So again, Thea, today's yours. Aaron, today's yours. So all the best. And Nigel and Ivora, thanks for inviting Thea and myself and Gavin on your program.
All right. Billy, it's our pleasure as well. It's really our pleasure. And thank you so much for agreeing as soon as we told you. And Gavin Richards, you mentioned. But what Gavin has done, Nigel, is...
Well said, Mr. President. Well said, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Yes, wave the flag.
Oh, the flag. Oh, yes.
I just realized my video was off. So, yeah, the flag's ready.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. Well, I thought you were doing it because you didn't want to show the video, but that's fine. So, yes, you're waving the flag now. Wonderful, Mr. President.
Oh, yes, wonderful.
Yes. I understand you shall be president for life. So, wonderful to know that. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the Dominica Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So yes, Gavin Richards. Let's look at Gavin Richards now. I mean, we know Gavin's worth, but what Gavin did, even leading up to Paris, is truly remarkable, Nigel. And I really hope that people can look at this and see it for what it is, and maybe even some sort of recognition as well, national recognition too. Because I remember back in the day when Curtis Matthew had gone to the Atlantics in 1996, for us it was just radio. The message would come across on radio. But no, we have formed that merger with social media. And Gavin understands social media as well, in terms of ensuring that, the visuals are shown on time, in quick time and all of that. So that really, really worked out well. And we really have to commend Gavin Richards. Yes, I mean, the spotlight is on Thea Lafond-Gadson, but we also have to look at the contribution that Gavin has made and continues to make, especially, in light of this. So welcome, Gavin. Good morning. Rice man.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Ivona. Good morning, Nigel. Good morning to the listeners of Connecting the Dots on DVS. I must say I'm blushing all over, but I'm really appreciative of all of the good remarks that I'm getting from everyone. But all of this wouldn't have been possible if the athletes didn't do what they did. So before I can take any sort of praise, I mean, all the praise has to go to the athletes for the good job that they did, that I was able to showcase to the world what they were doing in Paris. So, thanks again for the compliments and everything. But, like you said, the spotlight belongs to the athletes, and especially Thea Lafond-Gadson.
Gavin, just quickly, you have to just give us that moment as in terms of your role as a journalist, press attaché. It's time for Thea to jump. The other athletes would have done what they had to do. We know what Warren did and Jasmine, right? Jasmine Schofield?
Yeah, Jasmine.
But then that
Jasmine
day,
Schofield.
it was for Thea. And you as a journalist, press attaché, you had to capture everything. Tell us what it was like for you. You woke up early, I guess, went to the stadium. Just give us a synopsis.
Well, it was quite an amazing day. I mean, I'm still lost for words. It's been a week, since she captured that gold medal, and I still really can't process everything that went on. I mean, I saw Thea, right after and everything, and it still hasn't set in, the achievement that she was able to do. Going back to the day in question, I believe we also had Jasmine swimming as well in the 50 meters freestyle in the morning. So it was an early day for us. We had to get up early, head to the pool, which is in the other direction from the track stadium, cover the story of Jasmine, get back to the village, and then get set for Thea for the triple jump event. But it was really just amazing, everything that transported. That jump from Thea when she well, first of all, let's start with the first jump, 14:36 thereabout when she jumped that first jump in the evening. I looked at her body language immediately and I could see that she wasn't too happy. It looked like something might have just gone wrong, in terms of the lead up to that jump, and she wasn't happy. And when she went for that second jump, and my gosh, when she did that second jump, and I was sitting next to Brendan and a couple other members of the delegation, and immediately, once we saw the light went green, meaning that it was a fair jump, we said, okay, no one is going to pass that jump. Nobody is going to pass that jump. And so said, so done. I mean, we kept on supporting throughout. We were making life difficult for the other competitors when they were coming up. I mean, we were, not booing them, but, we were making them feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it was just amazing, amazing for Thea. And I'm just happy that I was able to witness that. Because I mean, I think that's probably the greatest achievement I'll probably ever have in my life. I mean, just seeing that, being part of that moment. And I want to thank Thea again. I mean, I've told her thank you on many, many occasions, but I just want to thank her again for that, historic moment and putting Dominica on the map.
Yes, Nigel.
So Gavin, but overall, in terms of being able to cover that, particular event, how stressful, how easy, what was the journey like for you doing this?
Well, it was a bit challenging, to be honest. I mean, compared to the regional events that I've covered, even the local events that I've covered, when you get to the Olympics, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, in terms of the restrictions, access, distance that you have to cover, it is not as easy. Like I told someone before, like you go down to the Windsor Park and you just simply run across the field when the event is over. It's really, yeah, it's really challenging. And like I said before, the athletes also made my life easier. Thea, Denick, Jasmine, Warren, they were always willing to come forward because they too wanted to share their stories with the rest of the world. So we had no difficulties at all. But I must say, the Olympic Games, that's the most challenging. That's the most challenging one that I've done.
All right. So Gavin, I'm not sure if your schedule is as busy as Billy. I know Billy had to leave. You're sticking around still?
Yeah,
you have time to stay. Okay, all right.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
We're hoping you would
That's
stick
good.
around in between.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay, so Nigel, we are going to bring on Thea now. All right.
Yes, we have Thea and Aaron with us. And for those who say you can't see her, there might be a reason why she.
Okay,
is.
I'm
yes,
we are seeing her now. Yes.
She was waiting until we got to her. You see, that's the whole idea.
Right.
Waiting until she got to her before they could put on the video. So all of all that making noise, you can see her now. Okay, she's right here. Hey, good morning again, Thea, Aaron. Congratulations again. Listen, before we get to Paris, because we have to cover Paris, but before we get to Paris, we want to cover some things and then get to Paris, because it's been a journey. It didn't just start in Paris, right? For you, Thea, first, in terms of that journey, where did that journey begin?
I think this journey really began when I was 13 years old, and my mother had a rule that I was not allowed to be in her house after school with no adult supervision. To her, it was the teenage idle hands, too much time. No, she didn't feel comfortable with it. And so all my friends at the time were joining sports, and they talked to me and they're like, hey, why don't you just try out for track and field? Just try out. And I said, okay. And my first day, I thought I was a distance runner. So I was there with an 800 training group suffering. And my head coach said, well, I'm not trying to say that you can't do distance, but a lot of people from the Caribbean end up doing more exclusive events like sprints and jumps. So let's just try you out in hurdles. And so we tried hurdles, and then we tried long jump, high jump, and last was triple jump. And that was when I was 13. That was 17 years ago. Insane. But that was the start of it all.
Beautiful, beautiful. And along the way, you were able to get into the jump and see where you are today. Aaron, in terms of your journey, I know that you also part of the journey in terms of the athletics, triple jump as well, I think, and, collegiate level as well. Just general, what is your journey like? Athletic journey first.
Sure. So for me, I started probably track and field at about the same age as Thea. So I did it all throughout high school. I was a jumper. I did long jump, triple jump, high jump. I did hurdles. I did sprints. And so then in university, I also did primarily just long jump and triple jump. And then afterwards, because I wasn't quite as good as Thea, I went a couple more years to see what I could do just to get a little bit better. And as part of, my training, I was coaching as well to help out kids, and I could use those facilities as well. So that's kind of where my coaching journey started. And then I had an injury that didn't really allow me to continue competing, but I also liked coaching much more than I thought. So I just continued coaching in the same area that Thea was living at the time and still does. And that's how I originally got to know her a little bit. Like I'd seen her around, Thea, I know it's a historic moment now for Dominica, but in our little region in Maryland, she was already a high school legend. And so I'd already heard of her before I met her. And so, yeah, again, that's just how we originally kind of got to know each other. And one of my really good friends was a jumper for the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so we all kind of connected. They went to Rio together. And then eventually that's how I started coaching Thea, because he recommended me to her for coaching.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I really see the connection
yes.
there, right?
Yes, and I like this. I really like what I'm hearing. Well, Thea, just take us back. Of course, you say from a very tender age, you enjoyed sport. Your mom would not have you stay in the house, and not do something. So you engaged in this. Was it always a triple jump for you? What other sport that you dabbled in apart from this?
So my very first, physical activity was actually dance. So for over 8 years, I was classically trained, ballet, tap, jazz. And then came volleyball, actually. And it was only till after the volleyball season was over that I found athletics. And it wasn't just triple jump, it was high jump, it was long jump, it was hurdles. They would put me on a 4x1, occasionally the dreaded 4x4, and there was a little bit of everything. And I think that actually really helped develop me as an athlete. I became very aware of my body. And I also think it instilled really great discipline, especially in dance. You stay in the studio for hours. It's someone telling you to fix it from the top. And I think it made me more resilient. It made me more coachable. But triple jump was in the mix, but it really wasn't until I was around 16, 17 that I really started to specialize in it.
When did you realize that was the thing for you? You said 16, 17, yes. But did you have any major achievements even then at that tender age, 16, 17? What was happening that, at that time told you that is where you have to be, that is where you have to stay? Maybe moment you can remember, any memory comes to mind?
Yeah, there were two. One was when I won the state championship in triple jump. Mind you, I did win it also in high jump, long jump, and hurdles, but the triple jump one was one of the highest records in the state of Maryland. And at that point, I was ranked 3rd in the USA for triple jump. So it was my highest ranking event. And the other one was when I went to high school nationals, and then I won triple jump nationals my senior year, so around 17. So at this point, I was still ranked in other events, but it was very clear that triple jump was the best of the events I was doing.
What was your mom going through at that time? I can remember we had her on Connecting the Dots, and Nigel, I'm trying to remember what she said, because it's not easy for a mother, to see her daughter in particular, do triple jump and having to jump, and so many things would go through her mind. But in terms of you, though, and what you'd see a mother go through, what was it like for you? What were you hearing from your mom?
Well, I think it's very interesting because I think her message has always been the same. My mother is very faith oriented. And my mom has always just consistently, whether I was 16 or 26, said, you know, God has blessed you with this gift. Well, go forth and utilize it, you know? And it's always been, you know, whether the highs or lows, we give thanks. Always give thanks. My mother has always been praying for me. It never stopped, whether it was, you know, failure at the Rio Games to on top of the podium, on at the at the Paris Games. She hugged me when we got that medal, and she said, God has always blessed you, has always favored you, has always loved you, and that sorry, and that that has always been her message through the ups and downs.
And that's good.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure your dad Dorian as well was part of the whole process and being there with you as well through it all.
For sure.
But Thea, I mean, what you have done for your country is monumental. I mean, there's so much we can talk to about this thing. We have been battered and bruised by many natural disasters, and you know that, you know. Politics has divided us somewhat, you know. Insularity, especially in the sport of cricket, continues to rear its ugly head. Yeah. Right in the region, it continues to happen, especially in cricket. We are still referred to as small island developing state, and yes, we are. Small islanders, that's what they call us, you know. The lack of sporting facilities and resources, you know, to help nurture raw talent is a major challenge for us in Dominica, and I could go on and say so many things. But what you did, I mean, it just, and I'm not sure at what time it sunk in for you. When did you realize that it's not just me winning a gold medal, but me raising, you know, my country's flag at a higher level, me creating opportunities for more people to know about Dominica? When did it sink in?
I think it sunk in partially in almost two parts. The first was the press conference right after the competition, when the first question was to tell the world a little about Dominica. And I think that video went viral, and I wasn't expecting it. I just was explaining to the world, many of which have never heard of our country, about our country. And that's when I realized, like, wow, like, this is giving me a platform to share about my favorite place on earth, you know? And that's all I really aim to do, is to show the world how amazing our country is. And all that I do, all I want to really be is an ambassador, not only for the sport, but for my people. And it was in that moment, I was like, wow, you know, the stage was mine, a mic was in my face, and I got to share our greatness to the world. That was amazing. The other time was during our national anthem. To watch the flag go up, to watch all the phones of the people in the stadium, like, you know, record our flag and have the national anthem playing. And it was a moment where I realized that even though I was in Paris, Dominica was there with me in the stadium. By the flag flying, by the music playing, the world got a taste of the Nature Isle. And that was unbelievably powerful to me. And I think those are the two moments that it really, really hit, that this is so much more than just a medal for me. It really is Dominica to the world.
Wow.
And Gavin, just quickly, Gavin, in terms of that moment that Thea mentioned and that flag was being hoisted, how did that make you feel, being the one to report on that?
Man, Nigel, that was just awesome. I mean, honestly, in my career as a sports journalist, I always said, well, this was probably something that would elude Dominica in my lifetime. You know, I never thought that we would be getting to have our national anthem played at the Olympic level and on the Olympic stage, sorry. And for Thea to do that, and I mean, everyone knows my situation where I can't physically shed tears, but I was crying inside because it was really touching, and just looking at the smile on Thea's face and everything. I mean, it was just amazing, Nigel.
Wow. So what's going through your mind as well, Gavin, in terms of your role, because you have to capture this, you have to send it to the nation, maybe you have to call DBS Radio Live, or what was happening, Gavin, if all of this happening?
Well, I was just trying to be as calm as possible, just to make sure I processed everything, took my mental notes, because apart from, having to report on it, in terms of writing and stuff, I also have to be trying to take as many pictures as possible. And Thea, thanks again for that good shot that you gave. Thea has a habit of always giving me some really good pictures. She always tends to give me that right pose, that right angle with that brilliant smile of hers, that beautiful smile of hers. So thank you for that. But it was a little bit challenging because I played so many roles, having to be a photographer, videographer, writer, everything in one, trying to accomplish everything. And just had to make sure I captured everything in my mind as much as possible.
What about you, Aaron?
Yes, Aaron, I was just
That
about to
moment.
ask you. Take us back to that
Yes.
moment, Aaron. Thea is about to
To
jump.
the
Tell us.
to the moment of when she actually jumped.
Yes.
No, to the moment when
Yeah.
she, I want to take it
Even
further, Ivona,
before.
to the moment when she
Yes.
actually captured, when she had that gold medal and that flag being raised, and
Okay. Okay.
finally
All
seeing
right.
her there. And then we're
And then
going
I
to go
also
to the
want to
process.
tell to I also want you to take us back to that moment in terms of how you felt as with husband and coach, how you felt as well when it was Thea's turn to jump. But let's go. Let's hear from you. I'm not sure where you want to
Okay,
begin.
sure. I mean, we can start at the medal ceremony since that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But as far as that, for me, I think obviously I was extremely proud. It was a really nice moment for me just to see how happy Thea was. I mean, as we've been working really hard for the last 8 years to have a moment like this, and it's extremely rare to see that the Dominica flag and hear the anthem. I think this is the second time.
Yeah, indoor rules, outdoor rules.
Yeah, the second time that the anthem has been being played at kind of a global championship. And so, that was really just an amazing moment for me to see that. I mean, Thea and I were talking earlier, and she said that, I guess we agreed that her happiest day of her life was, this competition and not when we got married. So, so
We agreed.
Okay,
We both
okay.
agreed on
That's
it.
that's
All
good.
right.
Not
And that's good.
saying it.
That's
We
good.
both agree.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome,
Continue.
my dear.
And then so like for me, hearing the Dominican anthem, it was like it was beautiful. It was actually really much longer. They played it much longer than I expected them
Well, we have 3 verses, and
play
I
it.
think all the verses were played, of course, in the instrumental version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say honestly, it's probably one of the most beautiful anthems from all the countries that I've heard. And so it was just a really special moment for me, and just really, I was just proud of her. Less about me and more about just seeing her and seeing the joy that she was showing.
But take us back to when she was about to jump. What was going through your mind as coach? Of course, you would have coached and motivated her and tell her so many things. But that moment
Yeah, I
arrived.
think. I mean, coming into the competition, I felt very confident. I said to her many times, that if you do what you can do, if you do your best, if you do what we've been working on and what we've been seeing in practice, that you're going to be really hard to beat. And so I think, for the first jump, it was kind of just like a safety jump, like safety in the sense you don't want to put yourself in trouble where you have kind of a foul and then you start kind of stressing and you want to make sure you get to the finals. So you put something out there that was safe, that was going to give her, 5 more jumps. And then on that next jump, coming into the next jump, it started like a light drizzle. And I kind of checked some of the weather and the weather pattern and stuff. And I could see there was a big storm that was coming in. And so I made sure to go and grab her. Like I had to go all the way down, walk all the way down over to where she was, about 50 meters down. And I said to her, I was like, hey, look, it's good. If you got to do something now, because if you don't, like, it's just going to be really hard to jump in the rain. And then so, she heard me and then she went after it. And where I kind of sit, I'm kind of looking more at the approach and where she's hitting on the board. I can't see over where Riceman was, where they're at the pit and they can see exactly how far it is. But when I saw the jump based off of the rhythm and the speed that she had coming through, I know it was huge. And so if you go back and look, you can see I'm already standing up. My arms are open. I don't know how far the jump is, but I was excited about it. It looked huge from where I was standing. And then it came up and, it was an incredible jump. And so based off of how things were going at that point, I thought that was almost guaranteed to get a medal. I thought it was probably going to win. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And so that last few rounds, I wish I had a time machine or something and I could just transport through it, because it was just, those minutes felt like hours waiting for her to to get to the last jump to make sure that we had got that gold medal. But I'm obviously was super excited. That's probably the most excited after a jump that I'd ever been. Usually I'm pretty cool and collected, but that jump, I knew that was like a huge jump immediately. I
And
knew
for
it.
you, Thea, what was it like in terms of that, having done the first one, being safe, and then hearing everyone tell you, hey, it's probably going to rain, you have to get this one, get it out of the way. What was your approach like? What is it like for you?
So after Aaron told me, if you want a big jump, now's the time to do it because nature's not going to be on your side. And I said, okay. And I remember just doing like a little like self-analysis, like, hey, how is your body feeling? Like, well, my takeoff leg is a bit, like that hip is a bit tight. So I got on the ground and did a quick adjustment to make sure things felt open, felt better. And I was like, go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you're feeling now. This is your time. Go for it. Just go. And that's really all I remember. I think that my body was at a point where it was almost on like, I think like almost like auto jump, where it's like, how it's supposed to feel. You've done it so many times in practice. Just do it now. This is nothing new. You've done how many jumps before in your life? We're not trying to do anything new here. We're just trying to execute what we've been executing. And that hop felt insane. The speed I was feeling coming down the runway was amazing. The hop felt insane. The step felt huge. And I remember extending into the pit. And even before I landed in the stand, I could hear people yelling in the crowd. And when I did hit the stand, it became screams. And I was like, I don't know where I am in the sand pit, but it has to be far. It has to be far. And when I got out, I remember hearing Gavin, hearing Brendan Williams, and hearing Aaron. And I just, for a second, I blacked out. I remember looking around, waiting to see the green light, and then I got it. And then there was just, it felt like Aaron said, it felt like hours waiting to see the number come up on the screen. And when it did, I also blacked out for a good couple seconds. It took like maybe a couple hours later, and I'm like, told Aaron while I was in drug testing, like my hands really hurt. I was like, why do my hands hurt so much? And I looked back at the video, I smacked the ground. I was so happy. Both hands slammed on the ground. I didn't even realize I did that. So that's to tell you how like happy I was. And I really just fed off the crowd. I mean, I saw the Dominican flags, our section going crazy. And then I quickly tried to bring it down just because I was like, oh man, this is only jump 2. I have 4 more jumps to go through. Like, composure, girl. We're not done yet. We're not done. But it was magical. And the crowd was unbelievable. It was very clear that Team Dominica had did a good job of recruiting the surrounding patrons in the stadium because they all had temporary Dominican citizenship for that competition. The way they were cheering me on, which was amazing.
So Gavin Riceman, you had to separate the sports enthusiast in you, the DJ in you as well, the person, you had to separate that from the journalist, the press attaché. Help us with this, Gavin. What came to your mind when you realized really it was gold? It was really gold.
Well, before I even get to that, Ivona, after that second jump on Thea when she got the 15:02, after the few seconds of celebration with Brendan, I said, look, I have to send something back to the nation one time because everyone is awaiting the final result. But I said, look, it's very early in the competition, and there it is that she's put herself in a position we are sure to medal. And immediately I had to, call back the radio station. Luckily, I got Joseph Fadu, who left his home and came earlier to accommodate me and everything, and let the public know what was going on. Now back to that gold medal when it was gold. Wow! I mean, Thea, the way that she celebrated that because she still had another jump to go, and Brandon and I were saying, maybe she might just try to go one more time, maybe to try and break the record. But then Brendan said, you know what, it's wet. She might not take the chance. And we were just waiting. And then she has a way of just getting the entire stadium to look at her. She just walked onto the runway, took a pause, looked around, and just started to celebrate. And I mean, that just sent everybody wild. I mean, I think we were on the verge of probably being kicked out of the stadium because we left our accredited areas and ran into the areas where we were not accredited. and the security just, I mean, they couldn't stop us. I mean, we flew over chairs and everything to get to as close as possible to Thea, to enjoy that moment with her. And it was just, I mean, amazing. And like I said, the world knows that I can't physically cry, but I was crying immediately inside, and it was just so much. And then I had to just quickly compose myself and said, okay, I have to call back the station again. She's won the medal. And yeah, and that's, I think, where everyone else got to find out.
Nigel, let us just look quickly at the book. What is happening? I guess a lot of questions, a lot
The
of
book
comments.
is. I'll tell you what it is. If I'm to go
I know we
through
can't
it,
take all, obviously, but
it is
we always
just
have to
crazy for the
recognize people in the book.
congratulations and
Okay.
everything that's happening for Thea, how proud they are. I mean, the entire Dominican community is, they're just in awe right now, and they're continuing to, to sing the praises and the congratulations and everything over to you. So,
Yeah.
to all of you in the book, I can't call your names today because it's so many of you. But thank you for connecting. We appreciate it.
Sure.
For those of us who don't know, I'm Thea and maybe Aaron as well. Were you able to decide that you're not going to do any more jumps, or you have to do all the 6 jumps?
It's very much so your choice. The same way indoor season, at Indoor Worlds, I took 2 jumps. I decided to stop jumping. So what I did is you can choose to take every jump once you have a legal jump or not. So I passed every jump indoor season unless I had to actually respond to someone. And then during the Olympics, after Shanika Ricketts went, I was the last person to jump, which meant that I had already won. And the temperature was fluctuating, was really wet and damp. And I was like, there's no need. There's no need. I had the entire stadium to myself at that point. And so I ensured, instead of taking that jump, I really wanted to just to take in the moment. So like Gavin said, you kind of see me just looking around and watching like everyone come to their feet and start applauding and cheering for me and for Dominica. It was something I didn't want to forget. So instead of taking that last jump, I just took in the moment. And I do it all over again.
What was it like in terms of you and Shanika, in terms of I mean, you guys know each other. What happens between the jumps? Do you talk to each other? Do you look at each other and see what's going on? Is it healthy competition? What's going on?
It's definitely healthy competition. Shanika and I we really call each other sisters. We are very close. We bonded a lot simply because, she's also married to her coach. And they honestly were some of our first friends on the professional circuit when we started, competing at the higher levels like Diamond Leagues and such. And if you see us during competition, we might look like, bitter rivals. But at the end of the day, watching 2 Caribbean nations on a podium, I can't even fathom the words to describe how amazing it was to have 3 Pan Am countries on the podium, to have 3 Black women on the podium. It transcended so much. But we definitely hugged and we congratulated each other. We know how long we waited for them. We had tearful heart-to-hearts earlier in the season. She had mentioned to me, kind of these feelings of like, God, when is it my turn? Like, have you forsaken me? Have I not been good enough? Have I not followed in your ways enough? And I shared with her something my mother told me, which was, whatever cup of blessing you put before the Lord, he will fill. So if you come with a thimble, he will fill it. So she would always say, my daughter, come with the biggest container you can bring. And one of the prayers I said before I competed, and I shared it with Shanika, was like, ask for a bowl with infinite growth, that it's so big that the blessing is overflowing. And if you see, I think there is one video, and I can share it with you like, but at the end when we got our medals, my parents hugged me and then they hugged Shanika right after, because they know what it means for the Caribbean. They know what it's been like for both of us. And yes, we compete fiercely, but we love fiercely too.
This is deep.
What about you, Aaron? Now, how and I think I might have mentioned it. How and when do you separate husband coach, or do you ever?
I think there's a good separation. We have had a really good relationship, in my opinion. I think that from day one, even before we were, dating or anything like that, Thea's always had just an unlimited, almost unlimited amount of trust with me. And so anything that I've asked her to do as far as coaching perspective, she's always, she's never taken it personal. She's always wanted to get better. She's always seen it as our goals being aligned. And if I tell her to do something, that's in her best interest. And I think that's allowed us to really be able to make a lot of changes quickly. And it's never been something that's really bled over into like our home life or personal life and things like that. Certainly like at home, we might talk about track stuff and things like that too, but I don't think it's ever like there's animosity that comes from practice that comes into our home life and things like that. So I think we've been able to separate it pretty well. I mean, certainly there's some times where I might have frustrations and things like that, but I don't think, you can ask Thea, I don't think there's ever been a time where I've really taken my frustrations out on her or things like that. It's just, yeah, I mean, it works. I don't know if it will work for everybody, but it's worked well for us.
I know. Because there's a saying that a wife should never let her husband teach her to drive. So I was just thinking of all of this. But both of you understand your assignments in that, so that's very good. That's good.
But Theo, what about you though? Is there a time when you feel like, okay, and I need you to be the husband now, not the coach. I need you to be the coach now, not the husband.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there are definitely times I've said where, like, hey, I need my husband. Like, it's once in a while, it's very rare. But the times I'm like, I need the, like, someone telling me that it's going to be okay, that it's all right, And once in a while that happens. But like I said, it's very rare. I think we do a really good job of working as a team. I never really see it as like, oh, he's just getting on me and he's like, badgering me about this and I'm not going to hear the end of it. It's very much so like, I come to him as, I want to be successful. Your job is to tell me how to be successful. So my job has to be able to take instruction very well. Because at the end of the day, we're working together towards this goal. Like he has a job, I have a job. And so it's never like hierarchy, that's not the mentality at all. It's very much so we're both working together, moving forward on the same plane to achieve the goal. And there are times maybe, things get really stressful and once in a while we just need to talk to maybe just, a best friend or a friend that understands where we're coming from because, having him be a husband, a coach, and then watching him also coach, my 4 other professional training partners, it's a lot for one person. And I'm not going to be, I'm not going to lie to you and say that I feel comfortable always burdening him sometimes with stuff. So having people in our village that really understand what we're going through, we have friends that were in the sport that helped us even build our training facility, that are very close to us. We have a village that we can lean on, even when things get really, really tough. But like you said, it's worked very well for us. I don't know if it'll work for everybody. Okay. But for us, it's been a match made in heaven, truly.
Do you ever feel the pressure of knowing that you represent 70,000 people and you have to do well for them? You ever felt pressure to that? Or it's just like you've accepted it as, I guess, in a sense, a responsibility now?
I think I felt the pressure during Tokyo. And I think after the disappointment in Tokyo, I think I actually went through like a really rough emotional mental state. I just felt like I disappointed everyone. And the biggest disappointment was actually me being disappointed in myself. And I think that actually kind of became my superpower. I realized how much pressure that I had felt, how much pressure I put on myself. I realized that, my low point after Tokyo was probably one of like my greatest low points in life, honestly. And at some point I realized I've already felt the lowest of the lows. I fear nothing now. Like I don't fear failure. I don't fear the feelings that come with it. I know how to deal with it. I have people around me that can help me get through this stuff. So even leading up to the games in Paris, I mean, we had a few meetings, a few Dominica events, cocktail events, And everyone kept speaking of gold, gold, gold. And Brendan Williams actually came up to me, knocked on my door in my room and said, "Are you okay? There's a lot of people talking about you getting a medal and getting gold. It's a lot of pressure. Are you doing okay?" And I told him, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I understand that's what they want. That's what every country wants. I know that if I do my best, I'll be okay. I appreciate you checking in on me. But this time around, I think I was a lot mentally stronger, a lot mentally confident, and very much so unfazed by what was going around. Like, people are going to talk, people are going to have expectations. But what really matters is how I. And it took me a while to get there, but that's where we are now. And I honestly didn't feel much pressure at all this time around, even with all the talk. It was just, I'm going to go and I'm going to do what I love to do at the best of my ability. And I think the outcome is going to be something really special. And it definitely was.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Certainly love that. Rashman, in terms of the rest of the team that was there, the rest of the Dominican team, during the time Thea was going to be jumping and everything else, what was it? What was the feeling within the team, within the camp?
Well, the feeling was a lot of confidence. I mean, everyone was very excited. The swimmers couldn't attend due to accreditation issues. They had accreditation for swimming, but not athletics. But they were glued into their television sets at the village, and the rest of the delegation. I mean, we were just extremely confident that Thea would do well. But I just want to go back a bit to something that Thea said. She said that the Olympics in Tokyo helped define her. But to me, I think it was 2016 when she participated in the Olympics in Brazil. Because after that competition, she entered the Olympics as an unqualified athlete. So, I mean, obviously, there were not many expectations from her, given the circumstances. She gave her best. Well, I think you had an injury or something, Thea, something was hampering you. And she finished in last place. And then when I called Thea later on, when she got back to the village, and I called her for an interview, Thea gave the interview and then she apologized to the nation. That really struck me because I said, but hold on a while. Every other person would be quite satisfied with just even being on the biggest stage. But that meant nothing to Thea. For her, being on the biggest stage was, yeah, okay, good. But she wanted to actually win, even if she was not in a position to win. And then she dedicated the next few years of her life with her husband and coach and everything, stuck through all the trials and tribulations, and put herself in a position now to win that medal. And that is just an amazing story that I think every Dominican should cherish.
Tenacity.
The fact that whenever you get put down early in your career, it's not the end of the road. It's you have to take these sort of challenges and look to improve on yourself and move forward. And from Thea to go from last place, unqualified athlete in 2016 to the best jumper in the world in 2024, it means that everyone can accomplish their dreams if they put their minds to it.
Well said, Gavin. I love this.
I love this, Gavin. I love the way in which you kind of
This
framed
is
this
deep.
from
This
2016,
is deep.
8 years, and what has happened within those 8 years. Ever thought of doing long jump as well, or it's just going to stay with triple jump? This is it. And for those of us who don't know, is there like a big difference between the long jump and the triple jump, or can you just easily transition from one to the other?
I wouldn't say it's easily transitioned.
Okay.
A lot of athletes, a lot of jumpers end up doing long and triple growing up, especially when you're working on one on the other. Considering that triple jump's last phase is essentially a long jump, almost every triple jumper I know has tried long jump before. Will I be giving a long jump a try? I'm not sure. I don't think so. It would depend if Aaron thinks it'd be worth
You saw how
it.
your coach. You saw how your
It's
coach looked at
really
you when you said
hard
that,
to.
right?
Excuse me.
No. You saw how your coach looked at you and you said, "Probably might give it a try."
Yeah, it's very difficult to justify the transition at this point, given what's around my neck at the moment. But I did grow up doing long jump. And I think the last time I did long jump was maybe a year and a half ago, maybe then.
Like 2 years.
Probably 2 years ago. So it's fun, but not exactly my cup of tea.
All right, so we'll see how
I
that
like the three phases
we'll
more.
see how that works out. but but but
Yes.
but Thea, I mentioned earlier the lack of sporting facilities and resources to help nurture raw talent. I mean, it's lacking in Dominica, obviously.
Mhm.
So let us go there now. Let us go there. You left Dominica at the age of what, 7? I think you would have gone to
Five.
convent 5 or even earlier than 7. So you would have gone to convent prep. And
Mm-hmm.
as I said, we do not have the resources, for athletes to really hone their skills. I mean, obviously we have raw talent. We have a little that we can work with. But you know that as well. So what, in terms of your mindset, how do you think that we should move forward in that regard? In terms of if you had to give advice, because as I said, we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of talents in Dominica, but the resources are very, very limited. They are scarce even.
Mm-hmm. I do think that I'm really hoping that this medal will provide a catalyst to building facilities that would inspire and encourage the youth to explore the sport, right? I think the beauty of athletics is that it's not just one event, there are multiple. I truly think there's a little something for everyone. And I do think that it's time that we start investing more in athletics. I think it's a great opportunity, not just for the youth, but for anybody in life to pick up being more active and having a safe place to be active. I also think it opens doors for Dominica to be able to host games, even if it's start a small meets in the Caribbean. You know, how many times I've known athletes to go to Guadeloupe, Martinique, or even Barbados to compete. Being able to host games also offers job opportunities to people on the island, and also helps expand almost any entertainment factor on the island too. We could encourage more sports journalism, like Garvin Riceman is. We can encourage more videographers, photographers, giving them that availability and option and accessibility to sport. Right? It's not just something you can see on your TV. I want the next generations and even adults to be able to come home to Dominica and be able to witness great sporting events, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's something that it can really help to uplift our people, help financially benefit our country, and help inspire, hopefully the next generation of Olympic medalists.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well
What
said.
about prior to you jumping, Julian Alfred had just won the gold. Did that in any way give you some sort of inspiration or give you some motivation that, hey, we can do this together?
Absolutely. So it seems to be that we seem to be good energy for each other. Indoor season, the last competition I saw at World Indoor Championships was Julian winning the 60-meter dash and getting gold for St. Lucia, first gold. I messaged Aaron. He was at the stadium, I believe, right? And I sent him a photo, and I was crying like a baby in the hotel room watching her. And I was like, I am so proud of her. I want this for Dominica. I just want to do well so badly. The next morning, I did just that. At the Olympic Games, while I'm competing, after my second jump, I looked over across the track and I watched Julian in real time win gold for St. Lucia. And the first thing I thought was, well, got to keep the tradition going. I got to get gold now too. And it happened. It happened. And the best part is that I'm going throughout the village, going throughout Paris, and equal amounts of Dominicans and St. Lucians are coming up to me, congratulating me, taking pictures with me, and saying how proud they are of both Julian and myself. And I know Julian, she's an amazing person, an amazing sportswoman, and a truly great ambassador for her country. And I think that we've both been in a position where we're putting these small islands on the map, and really showing the world, that it is quality, not quantity, that matters.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. I love that. On a lighter note, have you been sleeping with the gold medal since you got it?
No, I have not. It's you know what? It's close to the bed. It sits right next to the bed,
Okay.
but
All
it's not
right.
on the pillow.
Yeah. I like that. It's heavy?
But in
It's
terms,
heavy? It's heavy gold or what? It's
It
heavy?
is. It's
Oh,
it's
it's
part gold. There's part gold in
well, yeah,
here.
it's not fully
Sorry,
gold.
I'm gonna zoom it, getting closer a little bit. If you can
Let's
see
see
it,
it,
the
girl.
middle is part of the Eiffel Tower,
mm,
and the back has, you can see it,
Yeah.
like a mural of the major attractions in Paris, and it is quite heavy. Um, how much would you say this is? It's a few pounds.
mm.
Yeah, about a kilo. And I've allowed a few people to hold it, especially the children. They come up to me, and they're always quite in awe at how dense it really is. But I haven't. It hasn't been in the bed. It's laid on the bed. I haven't fallen asleep next to it.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
We also had another viral. We also had something that went viral with your brother when
Oh,
he was
yeah.
told by his
Yeah.
coach, that you had one goal. And how did that make you feel?
It was really great. My youngest brother was the only member of both Aaron and I's immediate family that wasn't able to come to Paris, and he was very, very upset about it. Um, and I think my greatest concern was that he would feel left out of the moment. And I think that in his teammates' ability to just kind of gather around and embrace him in that moment, it made me feel a lot better that he was at least amongst his almost second family during the significant moment for our country and for our family, for the Lafond-Gadson family. So it was really beautiful. Big ups to the Naval Academy for sure for taking care of him during this time, but also making sure that he doesn't feel too lonely without his immediate family there.
The fact that
Nice.
we had four athletes representing Dominica at the Olympics, of course, that was a big thing for you as well as one of the athletes. I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. It was our biggest team at the Olympic Games. This is my third Olympics. It was great. It makes me excited for the future of sport in on the island for Dominica, for the country. Um, and I think it's also been really cool to see generations. Right, we had two swimmers whose children were at the games, and I think that's really special too.
And Nigel, I think we also had this Fred Richards, his
Yes,
Dominican
yes, yes, yes,
parentage. We
definitely.
also
Fred,
have to
yes,
mention that
yes.
as
Let's say
well.
good morning to Fred, of
Yes,
course.
in
His
gymnastics,
mom
yes.
and
Just have to
gymnastics
mention
goals.
this
So
as well,
yes, good
yes.
morning to Fred. Fred
Yes.
Richardson was probably, I guess, the number one gymnast, if you want to put it that way, in terms of the US. So, of course, his
Yeah.
mom is Dominican, dad is Haitian. So,
Yeah. We had him as a guest
um,
already. I just want to
Actually, go
point that
ahead.
out.
No, interesting little story is that my parents were kind of just roaming around Paris, and they had a shirt that was like a USA and had a Dominica heart on it, and they were together. And I think his mom saw like my mom with the shirt on,
Oh.
and they were like, "Oh, Thea's like, your daughter-in-law and things like that." And they took a picture together and all that stuff, and it was just like a really like random connection in the middle of Paris.
Yeah. They were very excited, very excited. It was so sweet.
That's interesting. That's interesting. By the way, someone has been asking me, like asking us repeatedly, and I guess that's probably for the president. They want those shirts. They want those Dominican shirts. Where can we get those shirts? I listen. That's not for me, but hopefully the Dominican Olympic Committee can have some kind of shirts made available. I guess because people just want it to know that they
I
were there.
believe, Gavin, you want to speak on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that things are being put in place to have quite a few shirts available on sale. There's also going to be a special Thea Lafond-Gadson shirt to commemorate the achievement. So I won't go into too much details as to what the
Nice.
special Thea Lafond shirt will be like, but I can just confirm that there will be some shirts on sale very soon, especially leading up to Thea and Aaron's arrival, like Mr. Doctor said, in a few weeks.
No,
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful,
So
beautiful.
tomorrow is the closing ceremony, right? The curtain will come down on Olympic 2024 in Paris. I'm asking
Yeah.
now,
Yes.
Gavin.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So,
We,
so tell us what tomorrow will be like for you, though, as press attaché. Would you have to go there as well? Continue to do your coverage.
Yes, well, part of the closing ceremony will be something similar to the opening, where all the athletes will come together again for one final time. We get an opportunity to celebrate all of the achievements. I believe Thea, we have to match out again. Thea will probably be the leader of the delegation going out again for that closing ceremony, and then we'll be witness to whatever show the host country, France, decides to put on. I mean, they did an amazing job with the opening. The opening on the boats was quite unique, although we got quite wet because it rained, but it was quite an interesting experience. And let's see what they have pulled up their sleeves this time.
Wow. See, I saw the dancer and the athlete in you when you rang the bell. You just have that flair. It just natural. And I was like, but look at her. Look
And
at
she rang
her.
that bell before too,
Yes. How was it for you,
Yes,
Thea?
yeah, Aaron pointed out, he was like, it seemed like you wanted to crack that bell. I was like, well, they called it a victory bell.
Mm-hmm.
And the rhythm I went for is like, I grew up hearing church bells always, on the hour. And that was the rhythm I almost defaulted to. But I had the entire stadium, to myself. The events were over for the night. I was one of the last ones to ring that bell, and I was going to ring it. And I was going to ring it loud for everybody to hear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it ended up being a very funny and like heartfelt video. And I think you can see all the passion and let out a massive scream, which is why I sound like this still. Like a lot of screaming, a lot of cheering. But it was great to know that that's going to be the bell that's going to be in the Notre Dame soon. So, if I'm going to ring it, I'm going to ring it like I mean it.
What has happened since for Thea in terms since you've won this gold medal? What has happened since? Have you and again, you may or may not want to answer, but have you gotten some more sponsorship calls, some sponsorship deals? Have you gotten more invitations? What's going on with Thea?
I think it's kind of all of the above. Definitely some great bonuses. I can't fully disclose them, but some great bonuses came my way. A lot of invitations to whether it be hotels or resorts, which are really awesome experiences. Some of my favorite ones are actually the ones from Ireland that have actually reached out, local businesses and companies offering to partner. A lot of media. This week has been very much so booked, and I see Gavin and Aaron nodding. They know they've it's been back to back to back. And but my rule is I refuse to complain about anything. This is what we work for, what we dream about. I can sleep later. And right now it's just pictures, videos, autographs, interviews, and promotions. So I'm grateful for all of it.
I want to come back to Dominica.
Right.
I want to come back to Dominica and look at what is happening, especially at the school level. We continue to have the athletics competition, of course, Gavin. We have the inter-secondary schools athletics competition. We have the competition at Independence Time as well. Thea, what is your advice to young people, the young ladies in particular, who who have their eye, on just participating in whatever sport that they can nurture their talent in? What is your advice to them?
My advice is to just try. Before you think that something is not for you, before you say that you can't do something, please just give it a try. You never know what might happen. You never know what you might fall in love with. There's never a situation where you're too strong. Strong is beautiful. You can do it all. You can be a great academic. You can be a great athlete. But please just give it a try. Please.
I like that. Any calls coming through, Ibrona? People have been telling you on the book. Why Ibrona not taking my call? But we have so much to cover.
Yes, there's a lot.
Once we get to the phone, then that's it.
And for that, we apologize. Yes, the calls are coming, but sometimes.
So we're sorry about that.
We're sorry about that. Yeah, we'll have another avenue where we can open up the lines.
Yes, we will. Aaron, for those of us who don't know, or who may have limited knowledge in that, what's it like in terms of preparation for Thea? Preparing her for the triple jump event. What was the preparation like?
Well, I think preparing for the Olympics is really a multi-year kind of journey. I think as far as even just like this year, typically you start training probably around September, October. You're going to be doing, you know, a lot of weight training, a lot of resistance training, like running with like sleds. You're going to be doing a lot of, you know, bounding. And then as you kind of get closer towards, you know, this time of the year, you're going to be running faster. Things are going to be maybe a little bit lighter, more intensity. And then maybe about 2 to 3 weeks out from a major competition like this, you actually kind of taper things off. And so things actually for the last few weeks for her have been like pretty, like very, very high intensity, but very short. And it just allows your body to kind of fully recover, but still really stay sharp. But, you know, to get to the Olympics at this level, it takes, you know, many, many years. And I think if you look back, I think the most remarkable thing about Thea is that if you kind of look back at, you know, what happened in Rio and you look at today, every single year she's got better and better and better and better and better. And that's kind of, you know, incremental improvement, I think, is really what you should be looking for. You don't want to just look for one just incredible performance and just kind of be done. You want to just keep building and building and building, and then have that really strong base such that when these big meets come, you're ready to go. And I think ultimately, because she was the most prepared and because we had some big kind of losses, that we learned a lot from those losses and we got better, and whatever was going to happen, we were going to be prepared for it.
The Olympics, of course, is the pinnacle of sports in the world. So what happens after? A period of rest, a long period of rest now? You achieve gold. What happens now, moving forward?
You know, that's a good question. We toyed with the idea of doing some more meets, doing the Diamond League season, finishing it off. But ultimately, we decided just to end the season. You know, we didn't want to try to rush a visit to Dominica and celebrate and then come back and try to compete. You know, you don't want to make any rash decisions. And so, yeah, we're ending it here. We're just going to enjoy it, celebrate with friends and family, get a really, really good long rest period in. Because next year we have an indoor Worlds in Nanjing, China, an outdoor Worlds in Tokyo, Japan. We're going back to Tokyo. And we qualified for both. So we're going to rest up and get ready for a great year. But the rest of this 2024 year will be focused on enjoying this and celebrating this with our loved ones and with our country.
And Estine and Dorian are still on Cloud 9? What's happening?
Yes, they are. My father has already reached out asking for a few more souvenirs for his colleagues. I think he's bragging in the workplace. I spoke to them the other night, and they're still both so very proud. And it's a little bit of going back to normal, but it's like they said they wake up every morning and they're just like, wow, you know, our daughter did it, and they're so proud of us. And I think that it's been honestly some of the best bragging rights for the Lafond-Gadson family. You know, like our kids are Olympic gold medalists, our kids are Olympic champions. You know?
Bragging rights.
Yes,
right.
Gavin, let me ask you though, how much recognition does the coach get though? Obviously, the spotlight is on the athlete, yes, but from what you saw in Paris, what you have been seeing, of course, but Paris, of course, is, you know, the height of it. What recognition goes to the coach as well? Do people talk about the coach or just the athlete?
Before I answer that, I think I'll probably give you a general synopsis as to what happens to coaches in all sports when it comes to this sort of thing. Normally, when the team does well or the athlete does well, you find that the coach gets very little recognition, generally. But when the athlete does bad or the team performs badly, all of the negativity falls on the coach. Like the coach is not doing a good job.
That's true.
So I wanted to be one of the first people. I know Aaron has heard it 1,000 times already, but Aaron did a fantastic job as coach. And I think he was well positioned as a husband as well to even do an even better job. And, you know, he's gotten a lot of recognition. I mean, a lot of people are coming up to him. I mean, he was on the camera, first up as well, you know, getting the hugs and everything. So everyone has acknowledged Aaron's contributions to Thea's success. And like I think one of the Facebook posts I posted, I put the hashtag Power Couple to let the public know that it's not just Thea alone. She has a strong man behind her as well.
Yes, because normally you find the coach getting criticized if the athlete did not do well, or say in a sport, the manager of the team, you know, if that team fails, you know, the manager will get a lot of criticisms. So I just wanted to put in context there.
Yeah. See, what about support from the Dominic Olympic Committee, from Billy? What was that like for you?
I think it was honestly kind of life changing. I think that if you know any part of my story, of our story, you know that 2 years ago I was still teaching, and it was very, very difficult to wake up at 5 a.m., get a lift in at the school that I teach in, be in my classroom all day, and by 3 p.m. Be on the track ready to go, get home closer to 9 p.m. and do it all over again. And after Tokyo, Billy said to me, he was like, I think that we understand. We understand that if we want to help you get to the next level, we need to let you just focus on the sport. Just to give people context, I was the only one at the Tokyo triple jump final that had a full-time job. Oh. Everyone else solely just did athletics. That was their job. And that was 3 years ago. And so much has been accomplished in those 3 years, right? And I think it has to do with being able to not worry financially about covering physio expenses or health insurance, groceries, travel stipends. That no longer became a burden of mine, and it allowed me to truly focus on the sport. So the financial aspect was massive, but I also want to give a major shout out to the DOC and the DAA about the emotional support that they provided also. Everyone always acts in the athlete's best interest, but I think it's very rare, especially since we've spoken to other people that have nightmare stories from their Olympic committee. We are very fortunate and blessed to have people that generally want us to succeed and do so without ego and selfishness. That is rare. So having people like Brendan, Billy, all the people that work within these organizations that truly put us first. It almost seems selfish to say, but having them do that allowed us to do our job even better.
Nice. Because that support is very important, and I'm happy they're able to do that as well. Yes, definitely. So young girls, young Black girls looking at Thea Lafond and saying, I want to be like her one day. What do they need to do?
What do they need to do? That's a heavy question.
It is. And I'm asking it in the sense that because people see the goal, we always say, they see the journey, they don't see the story, kind of a thing. And they're seeing the goal on you today, and they're probably thinking this is it. But I know it takes a lot of hard work, discipline, and everything else. So that's why I'm asking, what do they need to do?
I think one is that they need to be okay with failing and getting back up and trying again, right? You're not going to be great at everything the first time around, but you can't give up just because something didn't go your way once or twice or 3 times, right? I also think it's really important for young athletes, and especially young women, to know that it's okay. Criticism is okay. Healthy criticism is okay, right? Being told that you can do better is not a slight to you. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that someone sees that there's something greater in you. It's untapped, and we were trying to get it out of you. But the other thing is just please believe in yourself. A lot of young women, the self-conscious and self-esteem takes a hit around puberty for sure. And I want them to know that you are amazing, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are smart, and you are capable. I want you to believe in yourself, even when it gets hard, even when it doesn't seem like others around you believe in you. Believe in yourself.
What is your advice as well, Aaron? Small island developing state, small country, just about 70,000 thereabout. What is your advice to the athletes? I spoke about the raw talent that we have before, but the challenge that we have.
I think I want to go back and tell a small story. When I actually was in college, Jerome Romaine, who hope you guys all know was probably the best jumper that Dominica had up until Thea. He was a coach at a rival school, and I remember talking to him, and he told me that when he was in high school, before he came to America, they used to just run and jump on grass. And he had jumped something that was incredible. And I thought he was making it up. It was so far on grass. It was just unbelievable. And then he's my first meet on a synthetic surface. I did this, and it was just mind blowing to me. I was how could somebody possibly jump that far on grass? when I had never jumped that far in my career on like the best surfaces and things like that. And so I said that little story to say that I think the Dominican people that I know are very resilient and they're able to do a lot with the little. And I think that mindset is something that you got to continue to have. Like, it doesn't matter what you see other people have and other, infrastructure things that they have, just, keep working and do the best you can with what you got. Obviously, I think that, yes, Dominica needs better infrastructure and stuff to continue to get people to the level that Thea's at. But I think that it's always about how can you make the best of your own situation? How can you keep working? How can you keep building and bettering yourself regardless of the situation that you're in? And part of that is looking to find better situations. And if that means that maybe you have to find a new coach or a new training environment, do that. But there's always a way to get better. And I think Thea is a testament to that, where she didn't start out as the best. When you look at the global level, and year after year, she kept chipping away, and now she's an Olympic champion. And there's tons of talent in Dominica, and that can continue to happen again and again and again. But you just have to keep persevering and do the best you can with what you have.
Thea, in
And the
your
good thing,
go ahead, Nigel.
no, I was gonna say the good thing about it is that now we can steal Aaron now because he's Dominican too, so we can steal him and come and do some coaching back home during the summer, and so that Thea, thank you
We
for bringing
benefit
him along.
tremendously from this, of course.
Yes.
But Thea, let me ask you though, in your moments of solitude, in your moment of reflection, in your moment of prayer, when you think back to where you came from to where you are now, you left Dominica at a very tender age. You had to have gone to the convent prep, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
What comes to mind when you think back to where it all started with you, and when you made that journey to the US and where you are now? What comes to mind?
What comes to mind is that even in times of dramatic change, of unknowingness, of uncertainty, I was always okay. I've always made it through. And even coming into this games, even when I wasn't so sure, maybe my confidence was wavering, at the end of it, I was always okay. And I would like to point out one moment earlier this year. Someone very close to me passed away, Dr. Carissa Etienne. I had just visited her. I'd been visiting her at her home 4 or 5 times a week. And then one morning, I got a call from my parents saying that she had passed. And one of my last conversations I had with her was telling me to always remember that I am a treasure. And she jokingly pointed out, she's like, I'm always proud of you. But the next time you're competing, I need gold, Thea, she called me Thea Folks. Thea Folks, I need gold.
Wow, she mentioned you. I don't want to interrupt you, but I think she mentioned Thea, Nigel, because we had her as a guest as well. We had
her as a guest, and she mentioned.
Yeah, she mentioned you. So continue. Yes. I like the story.
She's known me since I was born, literally. My mother and her are the best of friends. And the yellow ribbon I wear in my hair when I compete is for her. Oh. But I looked at her, and she also reminded me of, time on the island and what we've come from and our very almost humble origins. And that even, she'd always say, that mustard seed can grow into something massive, powerful, beautiful. And that's what I think of. I think of the mustard seed in faith, in life. I think of uncertainty and the peace that I've always been blessed with, and the ability to go through drastic change and come out unscathed. And I honestly just think of what a blessing life has been. And for whatever reason, God has chosen me and the universe has provided these opportunities. And I honestly feel like one of the luckiest people on earth. And I'm so grateful, honored, always an honor, forever privileged to represent Dominica, the gorgeous nature isle, the gem of the Caribbean.
Oh man, that feels so good. Yes, it does. Gold medalist, Olympian. I mean, what else can we say in terms of that? That achievement. 2028 Los Angeles. Looking, I know it's far.
Oh, easy.
Very far.
No, not very, eh?
It is far. It's very far. We will see what happens. You know, we've talked about different things. Maybe want to start a family. Do we just milk this until we can? Um, but right now, I'm kind of enjoying short term memory and just being present and enjoying this. Um, but either way, whether I'm competing or not in LA 2028, I'll be there. Just cheering
Yes.
on Team Dominica one way or the other. There'll
Yes.
always be a
Yeah.
support.
Thea, I saw you dancing, by the way, and the booyah music rocked you. Nigel, Gavin,
Listen,
did you
Of
bring that
course,
on,
I saw
Gavin?
that. I saw that.
The booyah music. I
yes,
think,
ma'am.
hold them.
Yes.
That was a
Certainly,
program.
So,
certainly.
uh, interestingly enough, Booyah music is always on my playlist when I lift. So for the entire year, at least a few songs, and I do enjoy Signal Band, yes. Um, a few songs have always been on rotation, and Lando de Bouillon is the one that's most repeatedly played in the last month for me. So yes, I am partial to Bouillon.
You're
Can you
looking
move to
forward
the
to some of
music,
your,
Aaron? Aaron, can you move to the booyah music?
but of course.
Um, I can move. I don't know if it's the right move.
No, it's okay. I saw you. You're okay. You're all right. We'll
That's
accept
the
this.
important part, being able to move. But of course, here and here on, I guess you're looking forward to when you return home and whatever is being planned and whatever celebration and whatever is going to be happening.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be an emotional moment for you again, right?
Most definitely. I haven't shed very heavy tears yet, and I have a feeling that they will occur in Dominica.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they will, especially for all the little young ones,
Oh,
shouting
yeah.
your name all over the place and what's from all what is being planned and everything else. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a special moment.
Yeah.
Rice man, Kirby and Affleck did pretty well at the Olympics, right? This time around. Well, save
Yes,
for Jamaica, I
Caribbean.
think Jamaica didn't do as well as they normally do in the track and stuff like that. But overall, Kirby and Affleck did pretty well.
Yeah, well, Jamaica, they've set some very high standards. So, another country would be quite satisfied with a few silver and bronze, but not for Jamaica. I think they got one gold that was in discus, and they have to settle for silver and bronze in some other events. But like Thea said earlier, we had Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, that's putting St. Lucia on the map, getting gold in the 100 meters and the silver in the 200-meter events. And we generally had some good performances from the Caribbean athletes. Those who didn't medal, they went to the finals. They've really showed that, the Caribbean has caught up with the rest of the world when it comes to track and field. But as I'm on that point, and as Aaron and Thea mentioned, Los Angeles 2028, I mean, the way things are looking now, although we have like 4 years to prepare for it, it looks like we could have a pretty decent team in 2028 if things, remain
And we
on the
should.
correct
We should.
trajectory. I mean, we're looking at the likes of possibly a Trennis Hamilton, Addison James, Corel Etienne, Thea Lafond-Gadson if she doesn't call it a day. And we could have a pretty big team, for athletics when it comes. But I must say, for us to get that team, we have to put things in place and we have to start now. We can't just wait, a year or two before the games and
Yep.
decide, magic will happen.
Well
And
said.
a lot of people will cry about the facilities. Facilities, yes, that's one aspect of it. I mean, like Aaron said, if an athlete wants to train and wants to go further, he will find the facilities wherever he or she will find it wherever it is and get that job done. But our mindset as a people has to change as well. Our policies and everything has to change as well. I mean, people need to understand that athletes, especially right now at this level, we're doing it as amateurs and we're competing against professionals. And whatever support we can get from the local economy, local private sector, the government, it is well welcome. And things like time off to go and train, time off to represent the country, these sort of things we ought not to be having these kind of discussions in 2024. And no athlete or team official should go through those kind of things to want to represent their country because that is the greatest achievement that you can have to represent your country, to wear, the green, the yellow, the black and the other colors of the flag, represent the country. And we really need to put our things in place. I'm quite happy that the Sports Council is up and running now. I'm hoping that they can address a lot of the shortcomings or a lot of the challenges that the athletes are facing. But we really need to make sure that we put the correct environment in place so that we can have, this sort of success again in 2028.
Well said, Gavin.
Definitely, sir.
So,
Well
Aaron,
said.
let's
Well,
hear from Aaron. Your closing remarks before we end with Thea. We have already run out of time. I really wish that we had more time, just to talk.
oh man, we
But
can't run out
we
of time
really
for Thea.
enjoyed. We really enjoyed.
Right now, we haven't got Dominic time. It's
Yeah,
Thea time. We call
yes,
it.
Thea
So
time. It's Thea
we
time.
do whatever we want now.
By the way, so you all are going. So
Seriously, the closing
let me
remark.
just ask you,
Yes,
Gavin, quickly
seriously.
before Aaron comes on. Let me just ask you, Gavin, quickly. You all are going back to the stadium. What is happening for the rest of the day for you all, especially for you,
Um,
Gavin?
well, well, for me, after I'm done, I'm going to try and see if I can get back to the stadium just to
Okay.
witness one or two of the events.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other athletes are just enjoying the moment. I mean, they
Okay.
put in the hard work already, so right now they're just getting a chance
As
to
expected.
enjoy what France has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what Thea and Aaron are doing. I think maybe they might need some rest because they've been at it
Hmm.
interview after interview,
Mm-hmm.
and this sort of performance has really put Dominica on the map. I mean, you guys won't believe the amount of interview requests and where they're coming
Wow.
from
Mm-hmm.
for Thea and them. I mean, as far as Al Jazeera, BBC,
Mm-hmm.
all of these people, they're hungry for Thea and her story.
All right. Let's hear from you, Aaron, as we end. Your closing remarks.
Yeah, I guess my closing remarks are, I think at the beginning of this journey, so with Thea and I always would say to her is like, you got to inspire the youth. And I'm kind of saying it in a joking way, but inspire the youth in the sense of that I want people to go on YouTube and look at Thea and say, hey, that's how I want to jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this last year, we've, between like the Instagram messages and social media and stuff, like we've literally seen kids say, hey, I want to jump at you. I want to double arm like you. I want to do this just the way that you're doing. And just the amount of kind of the support that we've seen just from people, like Thea can't walk a block on the street without somebody stopping her now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been amazing to see that, to actually achieve that kind of dream of, people wanting to do what she does, people being inspired by her, people looking up to her. And I'm just immensely proud of her, and I hope that we continue to inspire the youth, inspire future jumpers, inspire future athletes, inspire future Dominicans to strive and succeed to be the best that they can be.
Oh, well said. When the coach is coaching. Thea,
Yes, yeah.
let's hear from Thea.
I will leave the final words to Thea.
Mm-hmm.
Thea, your final words, and I mean, so much you've achieved, but your final thoughts.
I am the risk of sounding like a broken record. I just want to say thank you to Dominicans not only on island but around the world. The outreach has been immense. People have been sending me the increase in Google search even for Dominica. This is beyond me. This is beyond us. This is really for the nation, and for everyone out there that ever felt like an underdog. Everyone out there that had to claw their way to the top. Everyone out there that felt like they should just quit, but decided to give it one more shot. This is for you, and for everyone that came before me, everyone coming after me. Thank you. I love you. It is always an honor, forever a privilege. We did it. Sincerely, Thea Lafond-Gadson, your 2024 Dominican Olympic champion.
I love the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
I like how that sounds.
That's a good
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes I'm like, boy, do we really recognize who we have and what we've done, man? I mean, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Thea. Thank you so much for doing this for us, for doing it for you, your family, for your community, but more so for the entire Dominican population. We're riding with you and we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
So, Nigel, we'll have to try to get Ernestine on again, obviously, some other
Oh yes,
time.
oh yes. We have to hear from her and Dorian. That side of the part. That side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely so.
Well,
Right,
thank
man.
you.
Great job, man. Great job. Thank you as well for covering and for sharing and making us know almost ball by ball what was going on.
Boy, when Griceman mentioned that Thea had received gold, I was like, I just remember 1978. I was a little girl back then, very little girl, but I remember when the flag was hoisted for the first time and when Dominic had gained independence, and Dennis Joseph said, "And no, the flag has been hoisted." Yes, I felt that way again. Thank you so much, Thea. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
All of you, thank you. All right, so Nigel, we'll do it again next week, God willing.
We do it again next week as always.
Yeah.
We connect all those who connect to the verse. We appreciate it. Keep connecting the dots all over the globe. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.